Welcome to ErfDragon Art. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my Frankenstein's monster piece I did in 2016. Roll the credits! Hello, welcome to ErfDragon Art as I've said already. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a video I recorded live on Facebook a few years ago, long before I knew about Twitch and all of the other usual suspects. And it was a piece called Frankenstein's Monster, and it was part of a big sort of Halloween theme that I had. I'm going to be sharing with you the live video that I did on Facebook a little while back. Where the idea came from to do this particular piece of artwork was there was a time at my workplace where things were a little bit quiet and I had a bit of spare time on my hands, and I was just doodling on a piece of paper, and I just drew a whole sheet of all various different Halloween characters. I will put a picture somewhere on screen so you can see what I drew, but that's sort of where the concept came from, and I thought it'd be a great idea to do a little scene with all these different characters done individually. This is part one of that live stream I did on Facebook. The quality of the footage isn't as great as I would like it to be, and I've done my best to enhance it as much as possible. And in certain areas I've speeded up the footage just to try and shorten the video, as it was an hour and 30 minutes long. If you want to see episodes 2, 3, 4 and beyond, make sure you are subscribed and you hit that notification bell. There's about 8 episodes of this, and I will try to shorten it as much as I can. If you, like me, like seeing the whole process of a drawing coming together, then be sure to stick with this particular video. But if you're the sort of person that can't wait that long, be sure to check out this video where you'll see a speed art version of this piece. With that all being said, let's roll the video and I'll catch you at the end. Good evening, everybody. Yesterday, for my Halloween picture, I was doing the mummy image, which you see on screen at the moment. The latest addition to the whole set of characters I've done. Just to show you where I'm at with these guys. This is what I've done so far. So far, just to recap, we've got little Carrie tombstone in the corner there. That was closely followed by Jack-o'-lantern. The Jack-o'-lantern I actually did last year, so it's about a year old, but I have touched it up and added some elements to it to make it fit with this year's picture. Then after that, I worked on the old werewolf, and I was really happy with how the fur came along on this chap. And he was closely followed by my vampire bat, probably one of my favourites so far in terms of just the detail and the effect that I've been able to get. And oh yes, and I nearly forgot my ghost. And although I did this ghost a while ago, one little thing I did discover while doing the mummy was I found a way of making the ghost look a bit see-through, a bit more ghostly. So if you look closer, you can actually see right through into the background, which I thought was a nice little added feature. So that's what I've done, and I've also got this guy down here, which for anybody that watches, anyone that knows, he's from The Exorcist. Not a film I'm particularly keen on seeing myself, but I just thought the character was cool enough to put in the picture. And then yesterday, as I said, I worked on this guy, which is the mummy. And what I did was just individually painted all the different bandage areas. I added some various colours on there, as you can see, and mixed in a bit of red and changed the hue and saturation on it to give that blue tone on it. And what was good about that was it made the bones kind of stick out. So the bones on his body really, really stand out. But also, more importantly, he stands out against the background. So at the moment, my background scene is currently like this. However, tonight, I've started on, wanted to start on my Frankenstein. Now, I've done a little bit of work on him. So let me try and see if I can show you the original. this is the original Frankenstein that I did. Stuff that I've worked on and reworked on later on. And the reworking, I was able to fix the problems that were not right before. So that hand, for example, when I work on that hand later on, hopefully you should see the big difference that's come of it just by putting it to one side and being patient and waiting for just rework, just working on it at a later stage. Because then all I'm trying to do right now is just get the basic lines in. Because this software does allow you freedom to just keep working on it and make changes as you go along. If any of you have seen the original pictures I did on the Halloween scene, from either the previous videos or on my photo album, my seasonal photo album, you'll be able to see the difference in the quality of work. And it's not to try and toot my horn, but rather to make a point that even if something doesn't look right at first, keep working on it. Don't assume that because it looks rubbish now, it's always going to look rubbish. Because as you learn and you grow and you learn new techniques in your art style, whether that be painting or drawing or whatever, you'll know how to fix it. You'll know how to fix the problem, fix the little bits that aren't working correctly. It's something, as I said, that I'm learning again over and over again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is once I've finished these general outlines, I'm going to call it a night. I don't want to spend, because I have a day job, I don't want to spend too long doing these bits. And this is just for fun, it's not for a client or anything like that. Otherwise I'd probably, one, I wouldn't be showing it for starters. Two, I'd be spending a lot more time on it as I go along. However, another thing that I am learning, continuously learning, just get the outlines that way. Just get the basics there. I don't have to worry about details at this early stage. Although I've kind of worked on this guy already with the actual drawing, and I'm effectively repeating the work. There is a purpose to it, but get the basic outlines first. Get them out of the way, and eventually, as you develop it, as you develop your picture, you can add, remove details, and refine it. And sometimes when you take a break from a picture, particularly if your picture you think, oh, it looks really good, whatever, you come back to it and you can see where there's a mistake in it, or there's a flaw, where something needs tweaking. You may even find you have little, what Bob Ross calls happy little accidents, where you see something you didn't see before. I know I certainly have in the past pictures where it looks rubbish, really, really bad. But when I've come back to it and put it to one side and gone back to it, I've been able to convert it to something amazing. Something, amazing to me anyway. Maybe not say anyway to anybody else, but certainly where I'm happy with it. This is one of the biggest struggles, is getting feet right. Hands, I think, although I'm still working on hands, I still need to still improve and get my hands right. Hands I've kind of nailed a bit. I feel like with hands I can do hands quite well. But it's getting feet right, believe it or not. Considering how simple feet look, they are so complicated. They really are more complicated than you probably would give them credit for. They've almost done the legwork. I reckon that if I keep doing this in terms of just, let me get rid of this bit here. I believe if I keep practicing this digital stuff, eventually I'm going to have a lot more steadier hand and do it more accurate going forward. That's certainly the goal. I just realised out here where I've not been splitting cards like the other ones are. Okay. I'll do it to link to that before. I believe this is the last bit. Okay. Right. I think that's the last part of the outline inking. So let's see what it looks like without the background picture. That's what it looks like. Okay, so then, it's not too bad on the whole. There are obviously areas in that I need to work on to make it look brilliant. That's the basis of the character. So I'm going to work a little bit more, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a much thicker line and just try to detail it. Again, I'm going to use my grey for the reference, but I'm going to try and make this out of it and make the character more solid. And I'm going to put another layer on it. This is just so if I make a mistake, I can still get rid of it if I need to. Zoom in. I'll leave the head till last. I'm just going to focus on all the body, all the outer body bit. I'm going to go for the old ink brush. Right in. I can get the lines straight and more accurate. In seconds, I'm going to merge those. I'm going to put it as well. This muscle was too small, it didn't fit. It's all pretty much a learning curve. I'm doing things so differently than I would normally. But it's a good practice for me to get this Just to give a bit of an example how it looks. It looks a bit smoother than the other lines. If we just remove how much smoother that looks already. I was going to put the shading in, but you know what? I'm going to leave that to when I do the actual painting, because I think it'd make more sense to do it for painting. So back to my brush. I'm going to go on for about 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to call it a night. So I've got to, well, for one thing, I've got to relax. Secondly, Red Dwarf is on tonight. I don't want to miss that. And thirdly, most importantly, I have work tomorrow. Actually, that probably worked better. I'll tell you one thing I've learned. I think it's definitely easier to draw this with the ink brush. I'm actually using, I'm actually using brushes from a guy called Jazza. He does, he's got this custom brushes which, in all honesty, work beautifully. I really, really like them. Because I'm looking at these lines and they're really nice and clear. And they actually feel more comfortable to draw with as well. I'm not completely happy with this bit here, so this bit I'm going to get rid of. That. That B needs to be a lot more mucky. What about that B? Right here. In hindsight, I probably should use this brush in the first place. This brush is, it just feels more natural. She was definitely better without the lyrics. Kind of amazing. I mean, these brushes just really make massive difference. So you hit the crop tool there. Oddly enough, it's a lot easier to get the curves I'm looking for, whereas the other pen didn't quite do that. Kind of strange, really, when you think about it. Using the same pen, same control, same pen. For some reason, this pen seems to hit the curves better, whilst this particular brush seems to hit the curves a lot better. Curious. There's that line. It's going to be ending in about 7 or 8 minutes. Does that look alright? You know, these things are feeling a lot. This seems a lot better. Definitely should have used this brush more. It's so peculiar how this is making the curve. It's just hitting those curves right. And you might ask why, you know, in the background there, it's not bang on where the grey is. Part of the reason why I haven't done focus too much on that is because it's not so important that I get exactly what the original is back. And sometimes you need to just tweak it as you go along. Kind of the other reason why I'm doing it this way, instead of having to fix things that the better to do that, I think might use it to try and be very quite tweaky because it was nice. I'm going to be finishing up very soon. Just want to fix that foot real well. So this will be the last bit I'm going to do for tonight. I'll get this lower leg. See there was a gap there where I had to fill the leg. Alright. I'm going to call it a night here, but let me just show you what looks so far. Now, I haven't worked on the head because I didn't want to mess around with it too much. Because that's going to be the primary focus more than anything else. That's going to be the bit you're going to look at the most. So I will do up the second layer. And let's see what it looks like without the pencil line. So without the pencil, that's how he's looking. And I think all in all that's come out quite well. There are still some areas where I need to work. I could probably do with fixing this this area here. Also need to put more thick lines in there. Possibly work on that foot a bit more. Same with this one, make it a bit larger. But I think on the whole, more or less got him looking quite severe. So I just want to thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you taking your time to watch some guy doing a drawing. I hope you found it enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to seeing the colour version. If I can get the head done tomorrow and the other bits and pieces, I should start colouring in. But one of the things, let me show you very quickly the advantages of doing this the way I'm doing it, and it's not coloring very quickly, because I can get my paint bucket, watch how easily this can be coloured, he says. We need to just weird colours. All that effort I've done has just allowed me to colour them in all different places and everything else. It just makes It's so much easier. The only reason why this kind of the whole thing is because the head's on a different layer. Once I fit the head together, it'll all make sense. What I'll probably do is I'll work on the head in the meantime, and then the next time I do the video will be the colouring side. So again, thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely evening, and until next time, see you later. So after doing this original sketch, I went back and refined some of the ideas and put them all together and came up with some concept pieces. So let's go through those now. The first thing that I thought about was these guys here. And what I was trying to do, let me try and see if you can see that on the screen there. I will put a picture up on the screen. What I was trying to do is to try and do two things. Firstly, I tried to refer to the original version of this particular story and think about the time period in which it was set. So I was trying to keep that theme in mind in the back of my head. The second thing is I wanted to kind of give Frankenstein a bit more of a realistic view of what he would look like. Most of the movies of that era just have this box head character, a few scars here and there, bolts sticking out of his neck. That's sort of the general. When people think of Frankenstein's monster, that's what they think of. I was trying to think outside of the box on that. So what I did was I made, for example, his face all different parts. So all of his face were different parts of skin that had been sewn together. There's little gaps in his head where you can see the brain matter. You can see metal pieces inside his neck. But one of the biggest things, which you'll see later on, is how I did the bolts. I tried to do the bolts a bit differently. So I was really trying to get a different idea of this particular character. The second version of this was where I was trying to get a bit of a pose going. And I don't know if you can see here on the side, I've actually tried to put some little bars around here. So the bolts are on the side of his neck, as if holding up his head, as opposed to just sticking out. Main reason for that was because, for me, I couldn't understand why all these concepts just have these bolts together. It just didn't make sense. So I changed it so that the bolts are from the shoulders upwards, so it's holding his head up. Because if you think about it, if it's a body that's made out of many different parts, the head isn't going to be that strong because it's not all fully connected. So having those bolts there keeps that head a bit more secure. But obviously I did later realise that that's where the electrics go to make him come alive, but that's another thing. But you can see on here as well that I tried with the outfit, I tried to make it very medieval in its style. So that's really what I was going for there. This one is the actual original design I ended up with. Now, disclaimer, my anatomy skills was lacking at this point. I was getting there, but was lacking. So he does look a bit off, which is why I'm trying to redraw a better version, which I'll share with you once I finish that piece. But that was the version I finished. Now, because he's made of various different body parts and he's not completely all together, I'm not so worried about him being a bit disjointed. But in terms of the anatomy side, I'm not that keen on it. But that's what I ended up with. And this is the penciled in version with all the muscle tones and everything else. And then I did an inked in version. And this one was so that I can go ahead and colour it, which is what you're going to see today. So you're going to see from this part forwards. Moving on from that, I've come up with some other various designs later where my anatomy is a little bit better, not perfect, but a little bit better. So these are some of the new designs there. I will put them across the screen when I can. This one's probably one of my favourites. Again, proportion wise, it's a lot better. Probably my favourite version so far. But trying to draw the face details in that size is very difficult. And then this one, and this is the last one I've done. So those are the different ideas there. Well, that's the end of part one. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Also, if you want to see part 2 of this and you don't want to miss it, make sure you hit that red subscribe button and tick that notification bell so you get an alarm as soon as that video becomes available in a few weeks' time. If you do like this channel and you want to help support it, give it a thumbs up. That really helps out the channel and lets me know this is content that you are enjoying and you want to see more of. And if you don't want to miss the next episode, make sure you hit that notification bell and you'll get a little alert once that video is live. Anyway, I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And until the next one, catch you later. Bye bye now. To new software for that platform. Woosa. Come on, notification bell, so you get a ting. I went back. Excuse me. Period in which she was created.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Oh, and one more thing. If you want to see part 2, make sure you hit the notification bell. Otherwise you'll miss it.